So here we are at the vMix studio again. It's 2018, it's February I believe. We're going to go through our NDI studio setup. So if you've watched any of our other videos, you will have seen that we did a studio run through, just some basic information about our equipment and stuff. So this is where our studio begins anew, essentially. So we're running all NDI at the moment for our studio here at vMix. Now this is our PoE Plus switch that we have. So this is a 24-port gigabit switch with PoE Plus that we can use for all of our testing and that type of thing. We're not actually using it in our studio, but we're using, well, we kind of are, but we're using this for all of our testing with NDI, NDI-HX of all of the equipment that's coming into the network. So here we have it plugged in here, and as you can see, there's a lot of network cables going in and out of that. So now we're going to go to our actual studio stuff. So here we are here. This is where our studio computer sits. As you've seen in our last video, our computer's actually in another room, and we run all the cabling up through the roof. So this is our computer here that's for our studio. It's got a pretty crazy setup. It's got a 1080 Ti, it's got an i9, it's got a whole lot of great gear in it, and it's completely overkill for our normal studio setup. However, obviously we like to push things as far as possible, 4K, multiple 4K cameras, all that kind of stuff. So that's our studio PC. And as Martin is showing you here, this is all of our video equipment for our routing and that type of thing that we no longer need anymore. So because we're doing all NDI at the moment, we don't actually need any of that video equipment. Everything's just coming straight off the network, which is awesome. Obviously, when we start doing different things and we need the capture cards, and we'll be running stuff through our video gear, but at the moment, everything's on the network. So next to it here, we've just got our normal audio setup. These are just our microphones, our microphone packs, our USB Behringer 404, our audio capture that we use to bring in via USB with our audio. So that's all the same as it always is on our show. And as you can see, all the cables running up through the ceiling again. Now, literally, we only need one of those. So we've still got HDMI, SDI running through from the cameras to this computer, but currently we only really need one, and that's just one Ethernet cable. So that's our computer. All right, so we'll head back through. As you can see, the wall has grown. More graphics cards, more CPUs, more motherboards on the giant pyramid of things. So we'll come back through here. So here we are here in the studio area. Now everything, as it seems, might look identical to how we had it before. And that's probably because it's pretty close to the same. The TVs, the camera setup, all this kind of stuff is pretty much the same. However, we're actually running everything through this gigabit PoE Plus switch out here. So this is connected up to our other switch, and we're able to minimize all of our cabling and run all of our cameras directly through this switch here. So that is super, super handy. Previously, we had a lot of cabling running from here to the other room, and we're like, hey, we just need to buy a PoE Plus switch for here. So that's what we've done. We've installed that, and as you can see here, these are all of our camera sources here and our cable with this one here that's running back through the ceiling, our single cable going back through the ceiling to our other switch back into our studio PC. So that's the current setup that we've got back here. That's our gigabit switch. Now, as you can see here, we'll start from the right. This is the new Tek PTZ1 camera, and you can see just a single cable. So we need a counter every time we say single cable, because that is powering it and it's connecting it to our production, which is pretty awesome. So that's the new Tek PTZ1 camera. As of February, 2018, they are shipping if you want to buy one. So that's available. Then in the middle here, we have our Bird Dog Studio. So if you come around this side, you'll actually see the logo. We've got an old Bird Dog with the old hardware from ages ago, but this is the new one. This is the one that's shipped. So as you can see there, we do have two cables. That's because the camera, the Panasonic DVX200, we're sending the SDI out into the Bird Dog, and then using the Bird Dog to convert it to NDI and bringing that via that purple cable into our switch, so we can use it for our production. So that is that's what we've got set up. So that's a full NDI. It's running the camera, SDI, and then converting it to a full NDI signal. Now on the left here, we have the Panasonic AWHE40. So we've had that for, I don't know how many years. Cameraman, do you know how many years we've had that for? 2? 2 years, thanks. So we've had that for a while. We used to use this in our old studio. It used to sit on an IKEA shelf, and we used to have this as our main shot for our productions that we used in our tiny little hallway studio that we used to have. So again, single cable that is powering and connecting to our production. So that is, again, super handy to be able to use. Now, in the middle here, you'll also notice this sheet, this black thing here. That's because we've bought a teleprompter. So we've added a teleprompter to our main camera, just with some basic show notes. We don't have a script or anything. We just have some basic bullet points that allow us to get through the show without looking down. So if you have a look at our old shows, you'll notice that we look down far too much. Okay, so we'll come around the front again. As you can see, we've just got our normal LED lights as per usual, which is what we had for our last studio tour. Just 6 LED lights. I think we bought them from B&H. You can look those up. They're nothing too spectacular, but they do the job for us. Green screen still here. If you show around the front here, you can see our teleprompter. We don't have the thing covering the back, so it's a little bit hard to see, but we can bring that sheet around the back. So that's our teleprompter, and it can be controlled here via the iPad on our. Play this on our screen, and as you can see, it's moving up and down, so we can control it from the desk here. We're using Teleprompt Plus 3 is the app that we use, and we just have a teleprompter from a company called Promptit, which is an Australian company that we bought that from. So you go around the front here, you can actually see the tally light from the front here on the bird dog as well. So if the bird dog's active, it'll show you red or green depending on whether it's currently being used in the production. So that's something that's very cool, and it's very bright and handy. We didn't actually have it mounted properly, but we've mounted the bird dog to the top of our camera using a screw that Martin super glued many years ago, and we found, so we thought we'd use that for our production as well. So that'll make things handy for our studio. So on the desk here, we also have a PTZ Optics 12X Gen 2 camera. So that is a camera that you can add the HX firmware to. You just need a license and you can install it too. As of February 2018, it's not currently available. It's still in beta, I believe, but we are testing it out for them, putting it through its paces on our show. And I'm sure that will be available sometime soon, probably alongside with their actual PTZ cameras that will have the HX firmware built into it. And next to that, we have that's the Connect Spark. So Martin's rigged that up with a battery pack that he bought off Amazon that allows him to go wireless, so it doesn't have to be plugged in. However, that's his MacGyvering that's done that, and then he's added just a generic Sony battery that he can recharge and use that with. But obviously you can plug that in, you can use it with Wi-Fi, and you can use it with Ethernet as well to bring in an NDI HX camera signal, which is very cool. So in our current NDI studio, we have 4 NDI HX sources and 1 NDI source. So that is pretty cool. So everything is single cable. I forgot to say single cable for the PTZ Optics one. So that's single cable for power and connection. Actually, they're all single cable except for the Connect Spark, which doesn't have PoE. So that's our current setup. As you can see on the desk here, I have a small tablet that I use for vMix Social, and then we've got the iPad here that we control the teleprompter with. vMix mousepad, of course, that's always important when you have a studio, and the X Keys T-bar here. So I think that's about it. So anyway, thanks for joining us on our NDI Studio Tour. I'm not going to say we have the only NDI studio, but I think currently we probably have the most varied sources for NDI in a studio. I'm sure that might change in the future, obviously, as NDI grows. A lot more people are going to have NDI sources and that type of thing. But it's been really good. The only thing that's probably slightly different to our old studio setup would be maybe the audio. So just trying to match the NDI HX audio compared to a capture card, you might have to add a little bit more delay on the audio coming in. It's just so it matches with the camera, but that's probably about all it is. So it's been pretty cool to be able to set this up and have it have it going. I'm not sure how long we'll be using solely NDI. We might switch to capture cards and that type of thing and move them in and out and have some NDI sources, some capture card sources. Thanks for joining us on this tour today. We're really excited about NDI and the opportunities that IP production and IP video is going to bring to live video production. You'll be able to set up NDI cameras and NDI sources all around the place and be able to just connect them to the local network, and they'll be accessible to anyone that's on there that has the ability to receive NDI sources, which is really exciting for us. So we're looking forward to the future of NDI. A few years ago, we really wondered if we'd ever see cameras and converters, and today, as of 2018, there are now cameras and converters available for everybody. So if you've got any questions about NDI and about how it works, NDI is a way to transfer video over the network. So if you want to know more information about that, check out newtek.com/NDI. Or if you want to know how vMix uses it, you can go to vmix.com/NDI. We have a ton of different resources and different ways that you can use NDI with vMix and other different products as well. If you have any questions or anything about vMix, feel free to send us an email via the contact page on vmix.com, and feel free to ask us any questions about vMix and your setup and that type of thing, or where to buy vMix or how to vMix. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Click to watch another exciting vMix tutorial.